Have you ever heard of the Somali pirates? These aren't the swashbuckling types from Hollywood with eye patches and treasure maps. Modern pirates are a completely different story. They wield assault rifles and rocket launchers, instill fear, and bring chaos to the high seas. But here's a twist. What happens when these pirates pick the wrong target? The US Navy fleet includes some of the most heavily armed high-tech ships ever created. These floating fortresses are massive, sometimes over 300 meters long and displacing thousands of tons. They're equipped with weapon systems that can engage multiple threats at once, not to mention crews trained to handle just about any situation. So when a group of Somali pirates decided to target the US Navy, it was downright reckless. Now, don't think of these pirates as amateurs. Modern pirates are well organized, fast, and ruthless. They usually go after slow-moving cargo ships, seizing the crew and cargo for ransom. But sometimes in their desperation, they bite off more than they can chew. One such case became infamous when Somali pirates attacked the MV Maersk Alabama, a US-flagged cargo ship. When the US Navy got involved, specifically the USS Howard, things escalated quickly. This wasn't just any naval vessel, it was a guided missile destroyer, fully equipped to handle much bigger threats than a few skiffs of pirates. Armed with their AK-47s and RPGs, the pirates thought that they could intimidate their way into a quick payday. But what they faced was something entirely out of their league. The standoff that followed became a global spectacle. It wasn't just about brute force. Diplomacy, military strategy, and international collaboration all came into play to resolve the crisis. Ultimately, the Maersk Alabama was freed, proving that challenging the US Navy is a mistake no one should make. This incident became one of the most talked about stories of modern piracy and raised the question, do pirates even stand a chance against the unmatched power of today's naval forces? A similar incident occurred in April 2010 when the USS Nicholas, a US Navy frigate, was patrolling the Indian Ocean. Under the cover of darkness, Somali pirates mistook the warship for a merchant vessel and launched an attack. It all started when the frigate detected a small, suspicious boat, known as a skiff, lurking nearby. The crew immediately sprang into action, ready for anything. Their mission was clear: to stop piracy in its tracks. As the pirates tried to make a quick getaway, the USS Nicholas wasn't about to let them off the hook. With precision and speed, the frigate pursued the skiff. The chase grew intense, and just when you thought it couldn't get any more dramatic, the pirates opened fire. Yes, they actually fired at a US Navy warship. A terrible move. The USS Nicholas's crew, well trained and calm under pressure, returned fire and quickly gained control of the situation. In the end, several pirates were captured, while the rest abandoned their skiff and fled. It was a clear win for the Navy, but it also revealed how poorly prepared most pirates are when they target vessels way out of their league. Their audacity might make headlines, but their tactics often end in failure when facing such a powerful opponent. But that wasn't the only dramatic encounter involving the US Navy. Let's rewind to April 2009 and another famous incident, this one involving the USS Bainbridge and the MV Maersk Alabama. 4 Somali pirates hijacked the US-flagged cargo ship, Maersk Alabama, while it was sailing from Oman to Kenya. It was hijacked by Somali pirates in the Indian Ocean. The situation escalated when the pirates took the ship's captain, Richard Phillips, hostage on a lifeboat. The USS Bainbridge, an advanced guided missile destroyer, responded to the ship's distress call. For days, tense negotiations played out as the pirates demanded ransom, and the Navy sought a peaceful resolution. But things took a dangerous turn when it became clear the pirates weren't backing down. That's when the Navy decided to act. In a daring nighttime operation, Navy SEAL snipers from the USS Bainbridge executed a perfectly coordinated rescue mission. In just seconds, they neutralized 3 pirates and safely brought Captain Phillips back on board. These stories are more than just action-packed tales. They show the immense strength and skill of the US Navy. While the US has the resources, technology, and training to deal with piracy effectively, other nations aren't always so fortunate. Resource limitations, geography, and varying levels of international support can make it much harder for many countries to combat the menace of piracy. While piracy may seem like a relic of the past, it's still a very real threat in today's world. However, as these incidents prove, even the boldest pirates can find themselves completely outmatched when they target the wrong ship. Let's talk about the might of US Navy ships, some of the most powerful vessels ever built. Surprisingly, some pirates think that they can take on these giants. First up, the Zumwalt-class destroyer. These are the Navy's latest and most advanced surface ships. The USS Zumwalt leads this class, designed for a variety of missions, from deterring enemies to controlling the seas. These ships are built not just for today's challenges, but also to adapt to future technologies and missions. Then we have the Arleigh-Burke-class destroyers. In service since 1991, these ships are a cornerstone of the Navy. They're armed to handle threats from the air, sea, and underwater. With the Aegis combat system, they can detect, track, and neutralize multiple threats almost instantly. Any pirate thinking of challenging an Arleigh-Burke destroyer would be making a serious mistake. Despite the overwhelming power of these ships, some pirates still attempt to attack them. So why would pirates target such formidable vessels? Often, it's a case of mistaken identity. Pirates usually seek out large merchant ships, which carry valuable cargo and are less defended. In the vastness of the ocean, identifying a vessel from a distance can be challenging. A large silhouette on the horizon might be mistaken for a merchant vessel, leading pirates to approach, only to realize too late that they've targeted a warship. As for non-lethal weapons against pirates, it's a topic of ongoing debate. Non-lethal measures such as water cannons, sound cannons, or even slippery foam can deter pirates without causing fatalities. These methods can be effective in repelling attacks, especially when used by merchant ships. However, when pirates engage military vessels, the stakes are higher. The primary duty of a navy is to protect its crew and assets, often necessitating decisive action. In such high-risk situations, non-lethal options may not provide the immediate resolution required to neutralize the threat. In the end, while the idea of pirates challenging the US Navy might seem audacious, it's often a mix of desperation, miscalculation, and the unpredictable nature of the high seas. In the fight against piracy, some incredible organizations are working day and night to keep the seas safe. Take the International Maritime Bureau, for example. They're like the global watchdog for pirate activity, constantly monitoring incidents worldwide. Their team operates a 24-hour piracy report center in Kuala Lumpur, always ready to help ships under threat and provide vital information to governments and authorities. Then there's the United Nations, which has taken a big step with something called the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. It's basically a rulebook for the oceans, laying out how countries should work together to catch and prosecute pirates, no matter where they're from or where they attack. It's all about cooperation and making sure pirates don't slip through the cracks. One of the most impressive efforts in this fight is the Combined Task Force 150. This multinational naval group brings together ships from different countries to patrol the Gulf of Aden, the Arabian Sea, and the Indian Ocean. Their mission is to stop piracy, smuggling, and even terrorist activities, all with the goal of making these waters safer for everyone. And of course, the US Navy is a major player in this. They've been part of so many operations, showing just how committed they are to keeping the seas secure. They work closely with international partners, using their ships and highly trained crews to protect global trade routes and make sure sailors can do their jobs without fear. It's teamwork on a whole other level. Now, when it comes to handling pirates, what's your take? Should we use non-lethal tactics or full force against pirates? Share your thoughts below.